Let's take a moment to talk about our sponsor.
You're a new DM who wants to jump behind the screen. Maybe you've been volunteered by your gaming group but aren't quite ready. You've been watching people play games online or on podcasts, and you're thinking to yourself, where do they come up with all that descriptive narrative? There's no way I can do that. Well, don't worry. We've got a solution for you. What if I were to tell you that I can put a team of professional writers alongside you at your desk while you're prepping your game? Sounds pretty good, huh? With Describe, we can do just that. These narratives vividly describe monsters, places, spells, people, you name it. It's there, and there are more than 6,000 of these easy-to-search up, copy, and pastable, beautifully written narratives right at your fingertips. Confidently read these narratives aloud in your campaign and impress noob and veteran gamer alike. And the best thing about it is, the library of narratives is constantly growing, and it's affordable. Describe has graciously provided us with a discount for our listeners. Head on over to describe.com/DMD. That's DSCRYB.com/DMD. Use the code DMD at checkout to try Describe for 2 weeks for free. Links will be in the show notes.
And now, back to the show. D&D Campaign Starters, Part 2.
Or as I say in French, duh.
Nice.
Well, Homer Simpson says that. He must be French.
Duh.
Don't!
This week we're continuing our series on D&D Campaign Starters. This week we're talking about writs. Now, we're not coming up with this on the fly. We're sharing how we've done this in the past to launch our 7-year campaign,
Which was epic.
It was epic.
Yep.
And it all started with
The PCs each receive a writ from a noble person who is allied with their nation. The writ, of course, starts them on a quest.
and that's how it launched 7 years of gameplay and investment in characters. Something as simple as that. And it was several different nations pooling their heroes together to go on a quest to discover why the world was shaking and why there was this dust and debris falling from the sky and why the sun was being blotted out. But what I think made it interesting was the characters. One character, Modit, happened upon, after he escaped from his slavers, he happened upon a dying man and that man's horse, and that man had his writ.
That's right.
Yep.
So he takes this knight's writ and follows it to this place where he presents himself, but he is clearly not this noble knight from a faraway land. He is a dwarf who had been enslaved for a long period of time. He had been scarred and had only one leg.
Enslaved by the Illithid.
Yes. And was a broken creature, but one of the most compelling characters I've ever had at a table. Len had messed up. He had screwed up big time, and his mercenary group was out to get him. So he hit the road and took these tunnels to escape from the empire he lived in. And he happened upon this other elf of his kind who invited him to his camp. And Len suffocated him in his sleep and took the writ and posed as him. And only later was it found out that Len was actually not Len, but he had actually killed him. And then there were others. One was a criminal. One was a zealot. One was a thief. 2 were thieves, actually. Viviana and Carolou.
Yeah, towards the end, yeah.
Yep.
As we added more as the years went on. We only started with 4 players.
But as the story goes, Bill, take it from there. They present themselves to this place in our homebrew world, which was the beginning of our homebrew world. This place became the epicenter of it, the first place designed for our homebrew world.
And that was Darkhold, a fortified city that was buried or embedded in what was called the cleft, a 300 to 400 foot high cliff that ran from the east coast to the west coast of the entire continent, where the continent was sheared by the Great Sundering a long, long time ago in the past. And this is where it all started. And from there, they were sent out saying, it's along the cleft somewheres is where we think this is coming. You need to find out what's going on. There were other groups that were sent out before them, and there will be others being sent out after them, because not one group can cover the whole continent. So off they went. And our group, surprisingly, was the one that stumbled upon the reason the entire continent was shaking. And it was actually the rebirth of the
Dragon.
The world dragon, the dragon that basically was the physical embodiment of the world's consciousness. And every 500 years, it doesn't just molt, it dies, and from its carcass arises several small larvae that literally consume one another till there's only one left, and that pupates into a new dragon. And this all happens within a day. But the weakening of the dragon it's disrupting the pattern, the flow, the heartbeat of the world, and that's what's shaking the continent. And until it dies, it doesn't cease until it's reborn. The shaking doesn't cease, because now the harmony has been once again reestablished.
And this is a very simple way to start a campaign with just a piece of paper that says, go here and do this thing. But to make it interesting, to make it compelling, this thing has to become bigger. And gradually it became bigger, so to the point where, okay, just the first year it was, the consciousness of the world itself that was shifting and growing anew. And then from there, the entire campaign ballooned into something even broader, into world-saving stuff.
And we've mentioned a writ. Now, we've done the writ a couple different ways over the years. Initially, you were simply told you received the writ, and I narrated the writ. After that, we've actually sent out actual summons,
yes,
and writs, and a couple different forms too.
With wax seals.
Yeah, with customized wax seals for our gaming group, and rolled parchment.
Yep. We've drafted
Yep.
Characters by sending a draft notice to their email or to their mailing address.
Yes, from Gnome Land Security.
Yep. So there's a lot of interesting things you could do with a very simple concept like a writ, right? You can hand it out at the table, and that's cool too, because having that physical stuff there is pretty neat. But it was impactful, I think, when they got something in their mail,
mailed to
with
their
a
house.
wax seal on it.
They were looking for that manila envelope, because in the packet we had other information about where we were staying and the house rules and any game rules. So it was an information packet, but in there was that folded, wax sealed, written, and it got to the point where they were waiting for something. As the years were going on, they're like, ooh, what's coming in the mail this year? Because we kind of changed it up a few times.
Yeah.
And we have other ideas as well.
This is enough.
It all starts with a piece of
That's
paper.
right. This is enough to get you started.
Yep.
And where you see it can go, but you just need that one launching platform. And the writ is a very simple way to accomplish that, but allow your campaign to balloon into something bigger and more epic. Your players are certainly going to be appreciative of that.
That's episode 2 of our D&D short series, D&D Campaign Starters. We'll see you next time in the dojo. That's going to conclude this episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Please subscribe to the podcast for more great content. If you'd like to hear a particular topic, you can reach us on Facebook at the Dungeon Masters Dojo, or you can drop us an email at thedungeonmastersdojo@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a good day.